Okay, let's get the wave started here, fans.
All right, everybody. Jones is going to get the wave going in the bleachers. So all 6 of y'all, get ready. Joe Means Joe and Foggy, your first jammers of the day. Joe Means Joe is at the top of the pack, fighting furiously against a solid tripod from Team Montana. Foggy trapped up in the back of the pack. Team Alberta rotating seamlessly in front, shutting down all avenues. Both blocking walls doing a great job of containing their respective jammers. And Foggy finds room to run on the outside, gets the first lead advantage of the day. Oh, number 306, Stout has knocked out Joe Means Joe at the last second, denying that initial pass. Team Alberta holding Foggy at bay with a tripod anchor by Attica Finch. And a hop over the last line of defense will get Foggy out with a full 4 points. Pack starting to pick up speed, waiting their jammers to come into play. And Foggy uses the hit it and quit it move. 1 point going to Team Montana, the first point of day 2. Official mascot and Fallen Out next to take the stars in hand. Fallen Out getting knocked to the outfield by Rolling Blackout. Forced to take an alternate avenue that works out in her favor. She finds room to run on that inside lane. Gets lead advantage for Team Montana. Official mascot takes a trip to the infield and recycles to play it safe. Pack setting themselves up nicely as they come into turn number 1, keeping the play contained. Falling Out, making it past the last line of defense from Team Alberta for another scoring pass. Team Alberta losing one of their blockers to the penalty box. And Foggy making quick work of putting on another 4 points. Sorry, Fallen Out earns another 4 points. And following official mascot out of the pack, Fallen Out decides to bring that jam to an end. 15 points going to Team Montana on that one, bringing them up to an even 20. Team Alberta sending out Blair Block with the star this time. She's taking on Rowan Road, who is at the top of the pack. Still has to get past Lurch, who is joined by, it looks like, Push Pass at the top of the pack. And now Lady Bits as they waterfall up front. Blair Block fighting furiously at the back of the pack. Rowan Road coming back into the track quickly. Still has 2 left to beat at the top of the pack. Looks like Team Alberta lost their jammer to the penalty box momentarily. That'll get Rowan Road to be third, lead advantage for Team Montana. Team Alberta ready and waiting with a tripod. Push pass and Ladybirds, your last line of defense. giving Rolling Rogue a run for her money. The no pack call will see Team Alberta losing a blocker to the box. Another full scoring pass for Rolling Rogue. Team Montana dropping a blocker back to give some offensive assistance to Rolling Rogue. Rogue finds room to run on that outside lane for a scoring pass. Airblocks are fighting furiously against a formidable tripod from Team Montana. Ladybits moving in to give some offensive assistance, trying to get that star out of the pack. And that jam will come to a conclusion. A 12-point jam for Team Montana.
I personally think the track taking is good. Not walk down the road.
Is this like the field test for
I have a photo at home. Like 5, 6 from a good speed. So, road I've ever seen. They live there. I'm just gonna walk away from that. That's good enough.
Yeah, that'd be cool for the Caps because they're not out to
Right after our team timeout on behalf of Team Alberta, we're going to see Joe Means Joe taking on number 12, Foggy. Once again, I think this is the jammer matchup from our very first jam of the game. Foggy at the top of the pack and gets a little push forward. And gets out with lead advantage for Team Montana. Means Joe making it out of the pack, and did she incur the point? No, not quick enough to incur that first point. Points for Alberta still up for grabs. They're going to send out Rotten Broughton. And she'll be squaring off against number 7, Fallen Out. Up taking away all the space at the start of the jam. Rotten Broughton trying to find room to run on the outside is knocked out, and that will allow Fallen Out to earn lead advantage for Montana. Rotten Broughton finds an open lane on the inside, and as soon as she completes a scoring pass, Fallen Out will bring that jam to an end. Team Alberta sending their official mascot out with a star. Rolling Rogue at the back of the pack against a currently formidable tripod from Team Alberta. Comes the lever trying to rotate around and forces a 4-arm penalty on the Montana Jammer. That'll leave lead advantage open for official mascot to earn. There's a little barrel roll in the infield and is bridged back by Montana's pivot. pivot for Montana, giving official mascot a run for her money, not even allowing official to challenge the tripod. Pat getting stretched out to its maximum as they bridge official mascot back. Some excellent penalty killing on behalf of Team Montana as they see their jammer return to the track. And Team Alberta doing a beautiful job, pixelated with the force out on the infield and bridge back to the top of the apex. Official with 2 left to beat, and she is forced out by number 17, Texas Twister. Will have to take the long way back around. Team Alberta with a solid tripod at the top of the pack. Unfortunately, are forced to let her go.
Good call.
Warren Road emerging with initial pass.
Wow.
Official mascot still fighting furiously. Getting knocked to the outfield. Always what we like to see is skater getting up under their own power. And of course, thank you to our volunteer medics, because without them, this derby event would not be possible. That was the quickest 25 seconds I have ever witnessed. But back to the action. Number 44, Montucky Lucky with the star for Team Montana, gets bumped out by push pass. Joe Means Joe at the top of the pack, getting some offensive help by Jigsaw, hoping to split up Montana's blocking wall. Montucky losing the star cover momentarily, but quick to replace it and get back into the fray. Team Alberta moving seamlessly in front of Montucky, closing down all avenues. Joe Means Joe and furiously at the top. Jigsaw working through Montana's blocking wall, hoping to split them apart just enough. Joe Means Joe almost saw the break of day, but a little tumble allowed Team Montana to form a tripod up front. And Team Alberta getting lead advantage on behalf of Joe Means Joe. Joe Means Joe cutting around the outside line and decides to bring that jam to an end. 2 points going to Team Alberta, the first points of their game. Blowback taking on Foggy from Team Montana. Blair quick to get to the top of the pack, and we know that Paul will set her free with lead advantage to Team Alberta. Montana losing one of their blockers to the penalty box, and a star pass to the pivot Illuminati will allow them to get free of the pack. Blowback knocked to the infield, and the quick call off will deny Montana any points this time. 2 more points going to Team Alberta. Following out Donovan Starr once again for Team Montana, having much success getting the lead, hoping to maintain that statistic. Broughton getting knocked to the outfield, bridged the long way back by Stout. Back to the jammer line. And Stout will incur a forearm penalty. Broughton will earn lead advantage for Team Alberta, the 3rd in a row. Calling out, knocked to the outfield, bridge back behind the pivot line, and Team Alberta ready and waiting with a strong blocking wall comprised of Bash and Bindi. Proving to be, push pass, the last line of defense at the top of the pack, taking away a piece of Fallen Out's speed and allowing Broughton to score all 4 points and bring that jam to an end. Illuminati opting to start the jam with the star this time, having some success. And will maintain that statistic, earning lead advantage for Team Montana, breaking Team Alberta's lead streak. Joe means Joe still working her way through the pack. And it looks like she is being sent to the penalty box. So power jam going to Team Montana for the next 30 seconds. Alberta blocking wall, getting ready and waiting for Illuminati to come into play. Lady Bits forcing her to the outside and bridge back by push pass. Jigsaw quick to move into play to shut down lane number 1 with some assistance from rolling blackout, and Illuminati will call that jam to an end while Joe Means Joe serves the remaining seconds in the penalty box. So our power start goes to Team Montana. And it looks like a late penalty will be assessed from that last jam, so Team Alberta losing 1 blocker for the start of this jam. Team Montana going to send out Roland Rogue for the power start. I don't believe that was 25 seconds either, but that was still slower than the last one. Roland Rowe gets a running start, and some beautiful clearing work by Brutal Kimpact will allow her to quickly earn lead advantage. Joe Means Joe off her penalty and quick to get into the pack and score some points for Team Alberta. Comes lower and pixelated at the middle of the pack, being joined by She's Hell. But William Road finds room on that inside lane to run. Joe back out, moving in to get Joe Means Joe free of the pack. Team Alberta moving well in front of the jammer, doing some excellent tracking work. Nice blocking well, anchored by a rolling blackout, and a quick offensive move by Team Montana, led by Scout, will set their jammer free with 4 points. Montana earning 8 points in that jam, bringing their total to 59. Team Alberta holding strong at 16 points, and we've got just over 12 minutes left in the first half of this game. Low block taking on Foggy in this jam. Blair making quick work to get to the top of the pack, but Foggy got room to run on the outside lane. Lead advantage going to Team Montana, but Blair block not far behind. Team Alberta ready and waiting, but unable to close the door on lane number 1, allowing a full 4-point scoring pass. Blair block managing to stay in bounds by the toe stops. Magnificent footwork. Still fighting at the top of the pack and gets past last line of defense of number 17, Texas Twister. Earns 4 points for Team Alberta. Foggy back into the fray, choosing the hit it and quit it technique on that pass. 3 points going to Team Montana on that one. Heading into jam, lucky number 13. We got Rotten Broughton with the star. Oh, and a back block assessed will see Team Alberta lose their jammer. Falling out, your lone jammer of record. Team Alberta at the top of the pack. When you know Pat call, they are forced to let her go with lead advantage. Alberta setting up a nice formation at the top of the pack, and She's Hell with the ultimate bump out that will incur a penalty for that hit. A full 4 points going to Team Montana. Falling out, running square into Team Alberta's line of defense and forced to the outfield. All in all, tried to stay in bounds by the toe stops. Unfortunately, it was not in her favor. The cut track will be assessed, and a power jam goes to Rotten Broughton for Team Alberta. KT moving furiously in the middle of Montana's formation, trying to split them apart just enough to set her jammer free. Montana blockers just moving all over the track, making it almost impossible for Rotten Broughton to get free. Team Alberta trying to use the strategic technique of the no pack call, but are forced to reform. And a dip of the shoulder will see falling out through the pack with 4 more points. Now Stout at the top of the pack. She'll be joined by Despicable Darling, knocking KT out, your new jammer for Team Alberta. And falling out, bringing that jam to its conclusion, earning herself an 8-point jam. Blockers moving back at the start of the whistle, taking all of Rowan Rowe's space away. Joe means Joe at the top of the pack, but as we have seen time and time again, Team Montana will not make this an easy feat to accomplish. Some solid blocking work on behalf of both teams. Not going to let the Jammers earn lead that quickly this time. Starting to learn each other's tricks, I think. Joe means Joe tries to run on the outside, but Team Montana shuts the door. And Roland Rogue will see herself with another lead advantage. Illuminati with the force out on Joe means Joe at the close of turn number 2. And unchallenged, Roland Rogue finds room on that inside lane, an easy 4 points. Joe means Joe moving furiously back and forth across the track, manages to get the blockers split apart just enough to set herself free. And Roland Rogue getting the instructions from her coach to call that one to a conclusion adds 4 points to Team Montana's total. Sitting at 82 points to Team Alberta's 22, and we've got just over 6.5 minutes left in the first half. Blair Block and number 12, Foggy, your new jammers of record. Foggy having some great success earning lead advantages. She's out at the top of the pack, managing to shut down lane number 1. And Blair earning lead status for Team Alberta. Number 306, though, Stout with the ultimate force out. And they'll force her back to the pack. Blair opting to call that jam to an end and leave that one as a wash for both teams. Rotten and falling out. The next jammers for jam number 16. Rotten at the top of the pack. Falling out, getting forced out by Rolling Blackout. And a no earned pass will see her free of the pack, but not with lead. Rotten with star in hand, frees herself from the pack, and we will have ourselves a full 2-minute jam. Four points going to Team Montana after a hard-fought scoring pass by Fallen Out. Rotten knocked to the outfield and strategically coming back in. Jigsaw moving in to take away the anchor of the tripod. Unfortunately, Team Montana was quick to replace it with Illuminati. Fallen Out sees herself another 4 points. And a beautiful spin move past the last line of defense will get Rotten free with 4 points going to Team Alberta. Alberta was ready and waiting for Fallen Out to come into play, but Fallen Out was just too sneaky. Got past 2 lines of defense, but ultimately pushed out by push pass along the straightaway. And both jammers taking the long trip back around. Let's see how far they'll go. Didn't quite get to the jammer line, only as far as the pivot line, but so game seems to be nicely contained between turns 1 and 2 for this game. And the jam comes to its natural conclusion. Team Montana edging closer to that triple-digit mark. And 4 points being awarded to Team Alberta, bringing them up to 26. And we've got just under 3 minutes left in this first half. We're going to have ourselves our first official review of the game brought to you by, I believe, Team Alberta.
I'm asking for a time check.
We're good.
So for that official review, Team Alberta was looking for a forearm penalty to be assessed on one of Team Montana's blockers. Unfortunately, the no call appears to stand, but looks like they are still discussing the details. So it does indeed look like no call will stand. Team Alberta will not retain their official review for this half, but fortunately for them, this first half ends in just under 3 minutes. Our jam timer bending the laws of time and space once again to fast forward this next jam. Joe means Joe, quick to make work of getting lead advantage to Team Alberta. Kentucky Lucky downing the star for Montana at the top of the pack against a formidable duo of KT and Clumsy Leather. Finds room to get through on that inside lane. Joe Joe getting bumped out by number 306 Stout, and will bring that jam to an end. earning herself a full 4-point pass. Don't forget to cast your vote for team MVPs. I believe there are baskets where you can put names in for who you want to see MVPs for each team. And we're going to have ourselves an official review being used as a timeout on behalf of Team Montana. And back to the action. We've got Blair Block with the star. Rowan Rogue almost got a head start on her, but was mindful of her skate position at the start of the whistle. Blair Block finds room to run on the outside lane, securing lead advantage for Team Alberta. Push pass bridges. Rowan Rogue be long way back behind the jammer line. Team Alberta with a solid blocking wall against Rowan Road, forcing the star pass to the pivot. Your new jammer will be number 17, a Texas Twister for Montana. And Blair piling it off from the middle of the pack, ensuring Team Montana cannot do more damage, denying them that triple-digit mark for this jam. Of course, thank you to our wonderful tape crew, keeping our track safe and our skaters safe, because we don't need people tripping up on tape and rope. We're already tripping up on each other. Official mascot with an apex hop, but a skid on the infield will mean she has to recycle to the back behind Scout. Foggy earning lead advantage for Montana, threatening to bring them to that 100-point mark. Foggy running into a solid tripod from Team Alberta, bringing her to a dead stop. Pixelated tries to take her to the infield, but Foggy was a half step quicker, earning a full 4-point pass. Team Montana providing a solid tripod, and Despicable Darling tries to shut down lane number 4, is unable to do so. Official mascot is set free, and Foggy brings that jam to an end as soon as she secures 4 points. And our scoreboard is indicating intermission. And it is indeed halftime. Team Montana is sitting at 105 points, Team Alberta at 38, and we will be back in just under 15 minutes. So try to stay warm. North's Border Battles Tournament. Joe Means Joe and Foggy repeating the first half as your first jammers. Joe Means Joe makes quick work to get to the top of the pack. Jigs moving in to try to split up Team Montana's formation. Foggy at the back of the pack, but a strong tripod anchored by Lurch will prevent her from getting by too easily. Joe Means Joe securing lead advantage for Team Alberta. And a pass of the star to the pivot for Montana will see them free for the initial pass. Joe Means Joe taking the opportunity, call that one off. A 4-0 jam in favor of Team Alberta to start off this half. Followed out down on the star for Team Montana. And Blair Block for Team Alberta takes a quick trip to the infield and is quick to recycle to the back of the pack. Looks like following out will be in the penalty box for 30 seconds, allowing Blair Block to hopefully secure a lead in favor of Alberta. Fashion Binny moving in, clears lane number 1 and sets Blair Block free with lead for Alberta. Montana ready and waiting with their blocker formation for Jammer to come back into play. KT attempting to open up lane number 1. Blair choosing an alternate route, getting forced out by Illuminati and bridged back to the top of the apex. Now Alberta, seeing the Jammer standing, was ready and waiting, but Fallen Out made quick work of getting that initial pass, bringing the jam to an end. Blair Block securing herself 2 extra points. Alberta's official mascot, Daniel Starr, once again, much to her fan club's delight. And Roland Rogue earning lead status for Team Montana, their first this half. Official mascot fighting furiously on that outside lane, using the lateral movements, gets the blockers split apart just enough to see herself free of the pack. Roland Rogue pinballing off the Team Alberta blockers, but they are quick to reform in front. And Alberta will see one of their blockers lost to the penalty box, joining Montana's pivot. Both blocking walls moving backwards, sucking all the space away from these jammers, not going to make this an easy pass. But Roland Rogue sees light of day on lane 1, gets through for 4 points. Official mascot getting bumped to the outfield, but blocker that knocked her out also went down. That means she can come back into play. 4 points going to Alberta. Pack starting to pick up a bit of speed as jammers come into play. Official mascot with some fancy footwork, but a cut track will ultimately be assessed. Power jam scenario goes to Roland Rogue. Montana positioning themselves for some offensive assistance, but rolling blackout will force Roland Rogue out of bounds. Lady Bits and Jigs proving to be a formidable 2-all at the front, and the call off will ultimately happen, leaving Team Alberta's jammer in the box momentarily. Power start goes to Team Montana. Montana sending out Illuminati with the star, who's had much success as a jammer and pivot this entire tournament. Gets room to run. Lead advantage to Team Montana. Pack starting to move backwards, shortening Illuminati's ride around the track. I'm sure it is much appreciated. Gets bumped to the infield, and a quick gear check will get her back up and into play safely. Illuminati is out and free of the pack with full 4 points. Alberta moving in to separate the Team Montana blockers. Official mascot taking a tumble on the inside. Illuminati doing the same. And official mascot pushing the pack to its limit. Sees herself free with 4 extra points. 2 more goes to Team Montana on that one. Team Alberta sitting at 54 points. Team Montana's 127. Foggy getting nice and low for the start of this jam. Works in her favor. She has a springing start to earn lead jammer. Jones Joe fighting with all of her might at the top of the pack. Montana providing a formidable 2-wall. A couple tumbling blockers will see Jones Joe with 1 left to get past and sees herself free of the pack for Alberta. Push pass with the force out on Foggy, and the jam will come to its conclusion. Don't forget to place your votes for team MVPs. The drawing a nominating place can be found over by the concession. So if you see a player you like, vote for him for tournament MVP. Alberta sending Blair back with a star for this jam up against Fallen Out. Illuminati splitting Team Alberta blockers apart just enough to set Foggy free. Sorry, not Foggy, Fallen Out. Nice dip of the shoulder by Fallen Out earns her a full 4-point pass. Pack is starting to pick up some speed as blockers jostle for position. And the jam will be called off, much to KT's disappointment. She wanted to score some points. Come on, let her score some points. Just kidding, I know that's not how this works. Rolling road with the star for Montana. Official mascot is at the top of the pack. Fighting along that outside lane. And will see herself with lead advantage to Team Alberta. A quick pass of the star from Team Montana will set the jammer free. Official mascot earning a full 4 points and calling that one to a conclusion, but not in time for Montana to score 4 points of their own. Alberta's going to find themselves with the pack advantage with the start of this one. Team Montana seeing 2 of their blockers in the penalty box. Foggy being sent out with the star to square off against Joe Means Joe. Team Alberta providing a solid blocking contingent anchored by Pixelated. Foggy finds room to run on that outside lane. Lead advantage going to Team Montana. Illuminati will be sent to the penalty box to join one of her teammates. And the no-pack call will force Team Alberta to let Foggy go with 4 points to her total. Joe means Joe incurring a penalty, so power jam scenario goes to Team Montana. Montana moving in to try and open up a lane for Foggy, but Team Alberta was quick to reform up front. Montana trying to keep one of the Alberta blockers with them to maintain the pack definition, but were unsuccessful this time. Alberta not quite able to shut the door on lane number 1, so Foggy will see herself with 4 points. Meanwhile, Joe means Joe sneaks out of that penalty box and picks up a quick 4 points. She's held with the force out on Foggy and proves to be the last line of defense at the front of the pack. Joe means Joe, half step bigger than Illuminati, ducks up that last ditch effort of a hit. A jumble of blockers as we come into turn number 3. And Jam will be called off in the middle of it. 2 more points going to Team Alberta. Sorry, Team Montana. Okay. Joe means Joe brought Team Alberta up to 66 points versus Montana's 154. Blair Block hoping to add to that tally, but she will have to score off against Rowan Rogue to do so. Rogue forced to the outfield and bridged back as far as possible by Rowan Blackout. Team Alberta moving furiously to the front of the pack, outrunning Rowan Rogue. Meanwhile, Montana 3-wall proving to be formidable against Blair Block. Lurch moving in to clear lane number 1. And will have to abandon helping her jammer to try and get a piece of Rowan Rogue. Blair Block will pass the star to her pivot, her savior, push pass. Rowan Rogue being called off for a penalty. Power jam goes to Team Alberta as push pass picks up a quick 4 points. Taking a moment to secure that helmet cover, making sure all of those points are earned correctly. Alberta making sure Montana can't bridge push pass back too far. A no pass, no point will earn push pass 3 to her total. Push pass running into a solid blocking wall, bringing her to a dead stop. And Team Montana able to form a tripod of doom. Blair Block moving in to try and split them apart. 4 more points going to Team Montana on that one. But Team Alberta managing to outscore them. They earn 8 points in that jam. Going to have a quick official timeout while we do a bit of track maintenance. dynamic start will start off this jam. Blockers taking away all of the space, but Illuminati securing lead jammer status. Broughton pushed to the outfield, bridge back behind the jammer line, but strategic placement of the hips gets her past 3 of the Montana blockers. Pack setting up at the top of the apex, and Illuminati opting to bring that jam to a conclusion. Joe Means Joe and number 44, Montucky Lucky, are jammers of record. Lucky finds an inch to work with along that inside lane, is out first. Joe Means Joe is hot on her trail. Some quick work on the blocking side to set up a line of defense. Montana only securing 2 points on that pass. Official mascot representing Team Alberta as the jammer once again. Foggy at the top of the pack, threatening to take that lead status away. But she will have to contend with Team Alberta's 3-wall first, which is anchored by Pixelated at the top. Pack getting stretched out to its limit. And the no pack call will see Team Alberta forced to let the jammer go. Official mascot running up that inside line. Montana was quick to get a line of defense at the top. And making it look easy, Foggy earning a quick 4 points. Official mascot getting tripped up right along the outside and will recycle to the back to play it safe. Lindsay Lever and Attica Flinch being a solid 2-wall, but Foggy was just a half step quicker getting to the inside line. A quick pass of the star. We'll see Pixelated as our new jammer. Foggy dipping low on that outside line picks up another 4 points for Montana. And now Pixelated picks up 4 of her own for the Alberta side. And another dip of the shoulders, sneaking past the hips of official mascot. Foggy brings that jam to an end. Montana earning themselves a 16-point jam on that one, bringing them up to 180. Team Alberta holding strong at 78. We've got just about 11 minutes left in this second half of the first game. Rollback moving strategically, ensuring that her tripod can capture Rollin' Rogue, but they're only able to do so for just a moment. Rollin' Rogue getting out first. Fashion Mini moving into clear lane number 1, and Stout wasn't quite able to get the hit on Blair Block. Rollin' Rogue getting past the hips of Lurch will see herself with a full scoring pass. Blair at the top of the pack gets past number 609, Lady Crasher. 4 points go to Alberta as the jam concludes. Team Montana finding themselves with a slight pack advantage on this one. The 2 blockers from Alberta in the box, 2 Montanas, 1 pivot. But as we have seen time and time again, it's not about the number of blockers on the track, it's all about the jammers. And that's Fallen Out earning herself another lead status for Montana. Blockers jostling for position at turns 1 and 2. Lindsay Lover trying to get a piece of Fallen Out at the conclusion of the jam, denying that extra point. Rowan and Rotten Bottom with a running start for this jam, but are quickly brought to a slowdown as they come into some formidable free rolls. Broughton getting bumped to the infield, but quick to get back into play, securing lead advantage, Team Alberta. Push pass, bridging back, rolling rogue as far as possible. And a sneaky star stash move will set Montana's jammer free. Start landing a hit on Rotten Broughton. And that jam brought to an end. 3 points going to Team Alberta. Montana being denied on that jam. Team Alberta moving back as the clock ticks down, taking away all of Foggy's space. Foggy thought she saw the light of day, but Attica Flinch was quick to shut down lane number 4. But Foggy tries running up that lane again and has success this time. Official mascot runs up lane number 1, and Montana are quick to reform at the top of the pack. Montana losing one of their blockers, and Alberta will lose official mascot for 30 seconds. Foggy running into the brick wall blocking, that is She's Hell and Attica Flinch. 3 points going to Team Montana and giving themselves a power start for the next jam. We'll have a team timeout brought to you on behalf of Alberta. Alberta using this opportunity to pump up their team on the bench. High fives all around. Falling out with this power jam advantage, Montana moving in to split apart Alberta's blocking contingent, but Falling Out takes a trip to the outside. Lady Bits with the bump to the infield. And Fallen Out will pinball off of the Alberta blockers and set herself free. Fallen Out just rotating off of the opposing blockers, making it look easy work of getting points. And official mascot reporting back to the penalty box. Fallen Out holding strong on that inside lane, secures herself another full scoring pass for Montana. Alberta managing to take away just a little bit of Fallen Out speed, but earns 4 points and immediately calls it off, securing a second power jam in a row for Team Montana. Looks like they're going to send out Illuminati with the star. Montana opting for a 2-and-2 formation. It clears lane number 1, but Joe Means Joe was ready and waiting for Illuminati. Attica Finch and KT joining in the fray. Number 17, Texas Twister, ensuring they can't bridge her jammer back too far. She's now opting to give some offensive assistance to official mascot, and a quick star pass to Joe Means Joe will set the Alberta jammer free. Illuminati running out that inside lane and a half step quicker than KT. And a high block will be assessed to Joe Means Joe, giving another power scenario to Team Montana. Illuminati also finding herself with a back block penalty. Will have ourselves a jammer swap out. And the penalty was over as soon as it began. Illuminati running up the inside lane, but will be assessed an insubordination penalty. Sorry, not insubordination. I believe it was misconduct. Joe Means Joe running up the middle of the track, securing 4 points to Team Alberta, edging closer to that triple-digit mark. And as the clocks tick down, did she secure enough points to bring it to 100? She did! Exactly 3 extra points will bring Team Alberta to an even 100. So Team Alberta finding themselves in the power jam scenario this time after Montana's 2 in a row. Quick official timeout to make sure everything is accurate. And Blair Block is off. Team Montana with the run back. And we know Pat Paul, Blair Block taking a quick tumble but secures the lead regardless. Montana providing a last line of defense, but Blair Block isn't phased. She is out and ready to score more points for Team Alberta. A spin move from Blair Block before she gets into the fray. Illuminati running up that inside line can only mean she has the star in hand. Blair Block taking a trip to the infield. And some sneaky lateral movements. We'll see how many points she secured. Looks like she will get 3 of those Montana blocker points. Montana bringing this team timeout with 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining in the game. This is usually where I'd say we have time for one more jam, but as we all know, it could be 3 jams for all we know. Those quick hit it and quit it jams go by pretty quickly. The quickest 25 seconds again. Could you please come to my work and make my day go by faster with that bending of time? Broughton, making it look easy getting lead advantage for Alberta. A very fast-moving pack. Alberta managing to set up a formidable tripod at the front. Attica Flinch drops back to help define pack. Broughton coming in hard, and Fashion Bimby closing the door on that last blocker will set her free. 4 points to Team Alberta. The jammer race is underway, and the blockers seem to be joining in on the speed, bringing themselves to a halt as they approach turn number 3. Broughton coming in hard. That rolling road getting away up the middle. And Broughton brings that jam to an end, securing another 2 points. And with no timeouts called and our period clock expired, it looks like this will be our unofficial final. So unofficially, Team Alberta with 109, Team Montana 213. We'll take a moment for the jam refs to verify all the points are tallied correctly. And that rolling whistle makes it official. That's the end of Game 1 of Day 2. True North Border Battles. We've still got 2 more games coming at you after the juniors practice.